44 points for Anthony Edwards. The Wolves put up a 52-point quarter. Just what? Plus the Pistons make a statement against the Knicks. It's Locked On NBA Game Night. Let's go.
When that final buzzer rings, you know it's time for Locked On NBA Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. It's the true NBA fans' one stop for all the action. Every game, every night. It's Locked On NBA Game Night. Tipping off now.
Welcome to another edition of Locked On NBA Game Night. Every game, every night. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. On Fridays, I'm your co-host, Jake Madison, at NOLA Jake on Twitter, and the host of the Locked On Pelicans podcast.
And I'm John Karalis, still dancing to the opening theme music. I'm at John_Karalis on Twitter, host of the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Today's
I like
episode,
doing a little jig to the opening theme music behind the scenes.
I know they don't get to see it, but we're always dancing because we have fun. We're covering the NBA. Man. They were fun games, even if there were just pumped. 5 of them. Like, I'm excited to talk about these. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase, maybe for some playoff tickets if you're one of the teams there in the postseason. And of course, thank you for making Locked On NBA Game Night your first listen today and every day. We're here 7 days a week covering every single game in the association in the regular season, the play-in tournament, and the postseason as well, which we are almost at. So there were some pivotal games on a 5-game slate. We're going to cover it all in 30 minutes or less because that's what we do here on Locked On NBA Game Night. And let's start with the Minnesota Timberwolves 141-125 win over the Memphis Grizzlies. Anthony Edwards, my goodness. Let's go over to Ben Beacon of Locked On Wolves for more.
The Timberwolves bounced back from a catastrophic collapse in Milwaukee 2 nights ago with a big 16-point win over the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm Ben Beacon, host of the Locked On Wolves podcast. The Timberwolves were down by 5 points at halftime. They scored 52 points in the third quarter, the most points any NBA team has scored in a quarter this season, a franchise record for points in a quarter. 52-25 was the margin in the third quarter, and they held on in the fourth. It got a bit dicey, down to 10 points, shades of Tuesday in Milwaukee, but the Wolves did enough down the stretch. Anthony Edwards dropped 44 points on 19 shots, was 7 of 11 on three-pointers, got to the line 13 times. The Timberwolves did enough offensively, more than enough offensively, scoring at least 30 points in each of the three quarters, including that massive 52-point third quarter. The Wolves did a good enough job on John Morant, and nobody on Memphis really felt like defending in this game, and that was key to the Wolves scoring 141 points. A huge win for Minnesota. Make sure to subscribe to Locked On Wolves for all things Timberwolves.
Yeah, that's just a ridiculous performance. Like, just Anthony Edwards, when he gets going, just has nights like this.
Yeah, look, I'm one of the stories of this season that might be the most surprising to me is that Anthony Edwards is shooting 10 3-pointers a game, and that we're at a point where, like, that's no one blinks at that. It's not what I would expect. I would expect other guys to maybe shoot more, other guys that we know as 3-point shooters. But when he has these nights where he can't miss from 3, he piles them up fast. He's not shy about taking them. And then you add to it that he gets to the rim so effortlessly, and that leads to 11 of 13 from the free throw line. That's the formula, right? Edwards will get to the lane, he'll do something spectacular. If he's hitting his threes, then you're getting a 40-piece no matter what. Even though the Timberwolves tried to blow this game as well.
They tried. I was going to get there.
They tried.
We're going to go into that. Don't worry.
This is the fourth quarter. I was like, oh, you're right there. Ant was just this is the type of stuff that gets him in MVP conversations to start seasons.
Yeah, this is why you look at him as the potential like next face of the league, when you can have nights like this on a national TV game, nonetheless, right? Like, it's the type of thing that's a little bit eye-opening. You mentioned he couldn't miss. The Wolves basically couldn't miss in the third quarter. They were 18 of 21, 9 of 10. That is another miss there too from the line in the third quarter. 52 points. Anthony Edwards had 18 in that frame, 14 for Julius Randle. Just like, but to your point, they almost blew it. They almost lost. Like, you had a 52-point quarter. You had 44 for Anthony Edwards where he was insane, and you almost lost. Like, not almost lost. I'm exaggerating there, but it was a little dicey for a second. Like, you should have just run away with it.
Look, you have to account for the Memphis Grizzlies. Their lack of defense here was a little stunning to me because they are fighting to stay out of the play-in. I thought this would be a game where they were a lot more focused defensively, and they had an opportunity after Golden State's inexplicable loss to the San Antonio Spurs. They have this opportunity, like, oh my God, we can maybe try to hold on to the 6th seed. And it's not easy to beat the Timberwolves. Timberwolves are a good team too. They're part of that big jumbled mess in the West, but
it's a mess too.
More effort there would have been nice from Memphis. They're known as a team that plays some defense. They have a potential defensive player of the year candidate there. So I just thought the defense would be a little bit better, but sometimes you get caught up in the mix of like shots are falling when Minnesota's hitting like that. There's nothing you can do.
36 points for John Morant in this one, 5 of 13 from 3. He's got a new celebration. What do you think of the grenade throw here? Throw it and cover and go.
I get what he's doing, right? He's drawing attention to the absurdity of being fined for a celebration. But also, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Like, is there no one who understands marketing and, Q ratings and selling stuff? Like, is nobody at, what is he, a Nike? He's got the Nike shoes, right? Like,
yeah.
Is there nobody that from the shoe company that could be like, hey buddy, let's stop with the weapon related celebrations. We want to sell sneakers to people to everybody, right? It's like the inverse. It's the inverse of the Michael Jordan Republicans buy sneakers too.
I was going to say, man, I don't know.
Sneakers too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but like, I get on some level it's absurd to be, fined for like a celebration that doesn't mean anything. But considering his history, just to tone it down a little bit.
Desmond Bane was great in this one as well. 28 points, 6 of 10 from 3 for him. The West, by the way, as a conference, you've got the Golden State Warriors at 47 and 33, along with the Memphis Grizzlies and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Clippers and Nuggets are 48 and 32, so just a game up on there. So literally those 5 teams can kind of fit anywhere, and it's likely going to come down to the final day, which is just nuts that, the team in the 5th spot could end up as the 8th seed. And then there's Sacramento and Dallas hanging out in the 9th and 10th spot, just happy to be here.
The 2 greatest words in the English language: default.
Oh,
Default.
Seriously, man.
Like Phoenix just completely fell apart, but Portland, San Antonio, New Orleans, Utah just tanking. And like Phoenix just can't, stepping on their own, whatever. They just cannot get out of their own way. And Sacramento and Dallas are just like, I guess we'll be playing for a chance at this. They will be eliminated in short order, but that 2 and 3 through 8 is incredible.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you tune into Locked On NBA Game Night to get the latest on the standings, the games, what they matter, what they mean for the postseason. Coming up next, Cade Cunningham and the Pistons sending a message to the Knicks. We're going to break down their big win coming up here next in today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night is brought to you by DoorDash. NBA fans, get ready. They swoosh, you save thanks to Dash Pass. Every time a player drops 50 or more points in a game, you score a huge deal the next day. And it's really simple. When any player scores 50 or more in a game during the 2024-2025 NBA regular season, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order, up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. So whether you're staying up watching highlights or just need a midnight snack, use Dash Pass to grab something delicious while saving big. You need a quick and easy lunch lunch the next day. With Dash Pass, you can get your favorite meals with $0 delivery fees and reduced service fees. Plus, now you save even more with this exclusive NBA offer. So sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save. When any player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the next day, up to $10 off. Just use promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. And thank you for making it Locked On NBA Game Night your first listen today and every day. We're here 7 days a week covering everything you want to know about the association, all of the biggest games, all the fun games too, which we certainly have had a good amount of. And by the way, we even got some ways to make your viewing experience better. The playoffs might be out of reach for your team. Maybe your team's in there. You want to stay up to date on everything that's going on. And that's what the Locked On newsletters can do. So whether you're subscribing to Locked On Pistons, Locked On Pelicans, Locked On Celtics, it's the best way to get all of the expert analysis delivered right to your inbox every single day. Plus, you could win big by subscribing. Subscribe to your favorite team's newsletter between April 7th, 2025 and April 30th, 2025 for a chance to win one of these amazing prizes, a $2,500 Best Buy gift card to upgrade your viewing experience, $300 to Game Time for tickets to a hopeful playoff game for y'all, or $200 to Fanatics to buy a jersey of your new draftee. You can subscribe to your favorite team's podcast over at lockedondaily.com. All right, John, I have loved the Pistons this season, right? Like, it's got to be one of the best stories, I think, throughout the whole year.
Great story. JB Bickerstaff in line for Coach of the Year. Great story.
Like, it's just after what they went through and their fans went through, to see them show out the way they are, it's just truly fun. They beat the New York Knicks 115-106. Kuka Hill, super sub on Locked On NBA Game Night, he thinks this is
our sixth man of the year.
Our sixth man of the year. He thinks it's a statement win by the Pistons.
The Detroit Pistons absolutely send a message to the New York Knicks with this win. At the beginning of this game, the New York Knicks were absolutely trying to send a message. I know they didn't play OG, they didn't play Hart, but they still had Jalen Brunson, they still had Mikal, they still had Karl-Anthony Towns. McBride played amazing. But at the beginning of this game, they were trying to send a message to the Pistons. They were playing physical. They were talking trash every single possession, getting in the Pistons' face. They were trying to let the Pistons know, you are not on our level. We hear the rumors of you guys wanting us in the first round. You guys can't mess with us. Watch what you want, because we will destroy you guys. Like, they were definitely trying to send a message. And in the first half, it looked like they might get it done. They were up by 12. The Pistons took that punch, responded, and got the victory. Cade Cunningham with maybe my favorite game of his entire career. The way he controlled the game and picked apart the Knicks' half-court defense in that second half was the way in which you see LeBron, Jokic, Luka hunt out mismatches, play slow-paced, wait for the double to leave, and then it was methodical, it was surgical what Cade did. That's the third time Cade now this year has beaten New York and outplayed Jalen Brunson. New York, we'll see you in the playoffs.
He's coming in strong there, man. Look, after what he went through last year, he deserves every bit of that like swagger that Kuka and the Pistons have right here. But look, this is the 3-6 matchup in the postseason as of today. There's a chance New York and Indiana could what was that?
I said for now.
For now, yeah, there's a chance it could change. It's probably going to end up being that, but this feels like it would be a fun series, by the way.
Man, that would be so fun because it's two teams that you could just slug it out. It would be, I don't want to say reminiscent of 90s NBA, but it'd be the closest thing you can get to it in 2025. Just a slugfest kind of basketball. Like they play slow. They do play methodical. They'll defend. I wouldn't put it past Detroit to make that a series.
No, not at all, especially with how they've played against the Knicks so far this season.
Yeah, and, Cade's a problem. Cade's a problem for them. They don't have the beef on the perimeter to handle Cade. And, the Knicks loaded up with length on the perimeter to deal with the Celtics, but that's tall, lanky, kind of quick-footed perimeter defense. It's not stout, kind of beefy, hit people kind of defense. Josh Hart could probably do it, but we know that Tibbs is going to play Josh Hart like 48 minutes, so he's going to wear down. So if that's the matchup, I'd favor New York. They've been better, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd favor New York, but I wouldn't be too confident about it.
Do you get bad karma trying to support, like, if you go against the Pistons and I don't want to call them miracle season they've been having, but like fun year that they've had, like the vibes around them are good. By the way, Cade Cunningham in this one, 36 points, 8 assists. As Kuz said, right? Like he was pretty methodical in the second half, and to see him settle in and basically play like a playoff style game, that's the biggest thing. If they want to make this a series in the first round, it's going to come down to how Cade plays. And if he's kind of playing like that, where he seemed very in control, that's an impressive sign, I think. And that's something that should scare the Knicks.
And I think it's a sign of like maturity.
Oh yeah, of course.
Think about what the Pistons went through last season, right? They just had a stretch of 4 losses in 5 nights, and it's starting to not slip away because they're pretty comfortably in that 6th seed, but it was starting to feel a little like, oh, okay, maybe they're, as the playoffs are getting closer, maybe the Pistons aren't quite ready to, and then here comes Cade to settle things down against the Knicks, and you're like, okay, here's a dude that's ready to handle this moment. Here's a guy that can control the game, understand that this is the potential first round, very strongly potential first round opponent. And he can come in and be like, you know what? I'm good enough to control a game, lead my team, do everything that the team needs me to do. That's a sign of maturity, confidence, and the type of player that can be that centerpiece of the franchise that they've always known that he can be in Detroit, but now is really starting to emerge as like, oh, okay, this is the dude. This is that dude.
Yeah, he looks like that now. You also just see the leadership from him too. Having it kind of be your lead guard, I think, is exactly kind of like the type of position you need to be getting that from with this Pistons team. For the Knicks in this game, Karl-Anthony Towns led the way, 25 points, 10 rebounds. Jalen Brunson, not a great night, 15 points on 15 shot attempts. He was 5 of 15. Jalen Duren for the Pistons, 18 points, perfect, 9 of 9 from the field, 13 rebounds from him. I'm looking forward to this series if that's what ends up being in the first round. Like, this is going to be one that I'm going to watch like every game on.
If this is what ends up being in the first round, that's the key.
Yeah, that's the key. It is right now. Let's move on to a team that one will make the playoffs, one won't, and that's the Milwaukee Bucks beating the New Orleans Pelicans 136-111 here. No one you've really ever heard of played for New Orleans in this game. They had 8 guys dressed. 3 of them were 2-ways. 2 of them were on 10-day contracts. Yeah, the Bucks were gonna win. I don't know what else. That's my instant analysis here from this one. I will say this, and I got a question for you, John, because it actually relates to you. Pelicans at least locked up 4th best lottery odds in this one. Philly is probably going to be locked into the 5th best odds. New Orleans is 2 games behind. That's a weird way to put it, but 2 games behind the Charlotte Hornets for being tied for the 3rd best odds. Charlotte Hornets play the Celtics twice. There any chance Charlotte wins both those games? Celtics are locked in it too.
I would expect that they could win one. They could win one. So my expectation is that, well, Jaylen Brown's already been ruled out on Friday night, but everyone else is going to play. This is going to be maybe a first half kind of, everybody plays normal minutes in the first half, maybe through 3 quarters, because this is going to be their last tune-up. The Celtics and the Cavs are going to get that week off as they wait for the play-in to kind of settle in. So, everybody's going to get that week off. So I think that next game, that Sunday afternoon game, is going to be the G League Celtics, and maybe the Hornets win that one. We know that they're going to try not to.
They're going to try not to.
I might play in that game. It's possible that I could get they have an open roster spot. And if the Celtics, or if the Hornets want me to, I'll play for the Hornets. That's fine. So my guess is that Hornets could win one of those two.
All right. That was me trying to hope, and I don't know. I'm assuming it's just going to be the fourth best odds here. I don't think New Orleans is going to win one of their final two games against the Miami Heat or the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's stinky at the bottom of the standings here with some of the tanking that we are seeing because, whoa, it has been something here. I don't know. Whatever. April basketball can be a little fluky. All right, coming up next. Did someone just win Rookie of the Year tonight? Zaccharie Risacher from the Atlanta Hawks will break down his big night with some Rookie of the Year talk and, of course, the Pacers beating the Cavs. It's coming up here next in today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night is brought to you by Game Time. There's nothing like the energy of a live game, whether it's catching a last-minute MLB showdown or soaking in the excitement of an NBA playoff matchup. But finding great seats at a great price used to be a challenge until you start using Game Time. Game Time makes scoring last-minute tickets easier than ever. Prices actually drop as the event gets closer, and with their all-in pricing, you see the total cost up front. No surprises at checkout. So here's what I love to use Game Time for, and it's last-minute deals. You can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. And you can grab last-minute seats for the play-in games, for the final games of the regular season, even the first round, and save big with their zone deals. And with Game Time, you get peace of mind. You get seat views before you buy. There's no surprise fees, and there's a lowest price guarantee so you can book with total confidence. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, though, that's code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. And thank you for making a Locked On NBA Game Night your first listen today and every day. We're here Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week. I'm never good at that transition. I screw it up every time. It makes sense in my head.
It's my favorite thing that you do. It honestly is my favorite thing that you do, because every time you say Monday through, I'm like, yes.
Come on, say Monday or Sunday again. Which one's it going to be here? I think I've also done that they kind of love is when we do the second listen, which, by the way, the second listen for me is going to be Locked On Pistons today. That should be your second listen today as well.
That's a good one.
I every now and then it'll do your second listen is reading with the newsletter.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that one.
Kind of fun here. You too can be as dumb as me and be a podcaster one day. All right, let's actually talk some games here, because I think that's why you come here and not for whatever I'm going to flub on the show.
I don't know. Are you sure? Are you sure? I don't know.
All right, a game you might not have been paying attention to, and that is the Atlanta Hawks beating the Brooklyn Nets 133-109. Look, Hawks aren't really making much postseason noise. The Nets have already been eliminated, but Zaccharie Risacher maybe winning Rookie of the Year, 38 points in this one. Let's go to Brad Rowland of Locked On Hawks for more.
Hello, friends. My name is Brad Rowland. I'm the host of the Locked On Hawks podcast, and the Hawks beat up on the Nets in Brooklyn on this Thursday evening, 133-109. The Hawks were in control the entire way. They never trailed. They're up 20-4 and never looked back on the way to a win that was expected, but also you can never take anything for granted in the NBA, and the Hawks were the better team, but they really took advantage of Brooklyn's weaknesses in this spot. But the headliner in the game for Atlanta, in addition to being one step closer to the playoffs, is Zaccharie Risacher was tremendous. 38 points for the number one overall pick, the most points scored by a rookie in the NBA this season, also a career high, obviously, for Risacher. He was perfect, 9 of 9 inside the arc in this game, in addition to having 6 threes. He was active defensively. He was good in transition. It was up and down, just a tremendous game. And honestly, he probably should have had more points than he did. He had 33 points with like 10 minutes to go in the game, and the Hawks kind of pulled off the Rays a little bit down the stretch. But alas, he was dominant, and Rookie of the Year stuff may be closed according to some. In the betting markets, Stephon Castle is the leader, but Risacher saying a nice little message here in mid-April as he tries to track down Castle in that race. We'll get into all of what transpired and more on Locked On Hawks.
Look, per FanDuel, you have Stephon Castle of the Spurs, who's been kind of leading for a little while now, but maybe prisoner of the moment. Real or fake, John? Did Zaccharie Risacher win Rookie of the Year tonight?
Fake.
Oh, okay.
Fake. because one game, it's nice, but his last game, 8 points. Before that, 16. Before that, 12, 9, 9, 36, 5, 18. So up and down. And he hasn't been he hasn't been consistent, which, look, this is a kind of wild rookie like class. I don't think anybody is rushing to to crown Stephon Castle as like the future or anything like there. I don't think people are overreacting to it. But he's had like the most consistently good season for the Spurs. And I think Risacher has been good. But I'm going to give a shout out to Michael Pina of The Ringer, who very astutely noted that of all of the rookies involved of all of the rookies this season here that are in contention here, Risacher has one of the lowest clutch usage rates. Like he's just not. They don't go to him in moments where they need somebody. So
that's a great
Castle,
stat, actually.
Yeah, Castle is one that he's on the floor no matter what, and has been part of like some decent performances. So nice game, and nice player, and could be part of a future for the Hawks. Not trying to downplay him at all, but I just don't think this one game did enough to put him past what Castle has done all season.
No, I think people are often prisoner of the moment, and this will stand out since it's the most points a rookie has scored this season. But Castle's numbers are just
hell of a game.
Like, great game. Against whatever the Nets were putting out there. And, Castle's just been better all season, as you said, more consistent. And I think that's kind of a really important thing to look at. Enjoy finishing second in Rookie of the Year, Risacher. Congrats on that. All right, final game of the night that we're going to talk about here. That's the Indiana Pacers beating the Cleveland Cavaliers 114-112. Let's go over to Locked On Pacers for more on this one.
Tony East here on the floor of Gamebridge Fieldhouse, where the Pacers just won a game. It means they'll be hosting a series on this court in the first round of the playoffs. They beat the air quotes Cavaliers in this one, 114-112. No Donovan Mitchell, no Darius Garland, no Evan Mobley, no Max Strus for the Cavs. And their fifth starter, Jared Allen, only played the first half in his quest to play 82 games, so it wasn't the real Cavs, yet the bench Cavs gave the Pacers a ton of trouble. They were hitting threes like crazy in the fourth quarter. The Pacers could not go on any sort of extended run in this game. Their offense was choppy at times. Their defense was choppy at times. But late, when the Cavs go to their deep bench group, the Pacers summoned just enough to get it done. 2 huge threes from Tyrese Haliburton, some big defensive plays. They get the stops late. One pretty, but they don't care how it looks. They care about the result. They got it. Win number 49 for the Pacers. They will be either the 3rd or 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. They will host either the Bucks or Pistons on this floor. And we will have much more on Locked On Pacers.
All right, let's go over to Locked On Cavs for their take on whoever played for the Cavs. Early April basketball, man, is funky.
From Locked On Cavs here after the Cavs lost to the Indiana Pacers 114-112. Donovan Mitchell didn't play. Darius Garland didn't play. Evan Mobley didn't play. Max Strus didn't play. Jared Allen played in the first half. The Cavs closed out this game with Craig Porter Jr., and Javonte Green, and Isaac Okoro, and Tristan Thompson, and Jalen Tyson. And they still almost beat the Pacers. I think if you're a Cavs fan, you're pretty happy with this result. I didn't think that moral victories existed for a team that has won 63 games. But this kind of feels like that, especially against the team that the Cavs could see in the second round of the playoffs. I think overall, even though it was a 2-point loss, I think Thursday night was actually a pretty good night for the Cavs.
All right, you're the Eastern Conference guy. Was it a good night for the Cavs?
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, look, you're playing Tristan Thompson in extended minutes, and you have a chance to win the game at the end. That's fine. That's fine.
Moral victory, like you said.
Like the Jazz should have traded for Tristan Thompson if they wanted to tank even harder. That's how much I dislike Tristan Thompson, and especially at this point of his career. So yeah, nice one. And look, the Cavs get to feel good about like, hey, if you play us again with our real guys, we'll smoke you. And the Pacers get to be like, hey, we have a chance to get this 3rd seed and a potential date with the Boston Celtics. As I'm on record, I do not want to see the Celtics play the Pacers. It'd just be an annoying series. Even if the Celtics win in 4, I would be very annoyed with that because the Pacers are an annoying team to play. But the Knicks, more than anything, the Knicks had better not fall to fourth after everything. That would just be annoying for them. But whatever. Nice game. Congratulations, Pacers. Close this out and see where this goes. And the Pacers get home court in the playoffs. We didn't see that coming at the beginning of the season.
No, they got off to a really rough start and at least managed to stabilize and finish the year pretty strongly here. All right. Go to Locked On Pacers for more. Go to Locked On Cavs for more on both those teams and what the playoff futures are going to look like. And that's going to do it for us here on Locked On NBA Game Night. All 5 games in under 30 minutes. We appreciate you so much for listening and making Locked On NBA Game Night your first listen today and every day on Fridays. I'm your co-host, Jake Madison, at NOLA Jake on Twitter, and the host of the lottery-bound Locked On Pelicans.
And I am John Karalis, John_Karalis on Twitter, host of the Playing Out the String Until the Playoffs Start Locked On Celtics podcast.
Go subscribe to your favorite team's newsletter over at LockedOnDaily.com. This is the Locked On NBA Game Night Show, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'll see you all next week.